Hello, I'm Tim Dunnigan, and no, I'm not in the witness protection program. Let's not even mention the bald cap. These are just some of the makeup problems that an actor will face sometime during his acting career. But we will not address them here today, as there are many makeup books and instructional videos already on the market that do just that. Excuse me. No, this particular video will focus on creating blood effects for the theater in interesting, safe, and imaginative ways, as governed by the author in the script. Oh. Let's face it, I could be nude, you'd never even notice. Thank you. But that's the magic of the theater and the appeal. You ask any magician, he'll tell you. Sleight of hand or sex and blood. Hey, Shakespeare got it. There's a higher body count in his plays than anybody else's, before or since, except for the Greeks. But they always had those insipid choruses always sidelining the action.
Hey, I'm Greek. What's your problem?
Well, nothing. Except I think my next video will spotlight costume stereotypes.
What do you mean by that?
Nothing, Zorba, but shouldn't you be out front and center crooning "I'll Never Walk Alone"?
What does he mean by this?
Well, I'm the costume designer, and that's not a compliment.
No?
No!
No.
You can't talk to me that way. You'll pay for that remark.
Have at it, Zeus.
I'll kill you! What do you have to say for yourself now?
And so's your old man. Hold it! Imagine, if you will, West Side Story directed by, Sam Peckinpah. But before we go any further, let's show a variety of methods that might theatrically achieve his madness. Safety cannot be stressed enough, either on stage or off, period. Whether you're rehearsing a fight scene or actually performing it in front of an audience, please, use common sense. Before we even address the ersatz body fluids, let's focus a little bit about the weapon itself. Suffice it to say, do not use a real knife in a fight scene. This is not recommended for a variety of reasons, but if you must, please dull the blade and make sure that it's no longer considered a cutting instrument. Again, use common sense. The same applies for using blank guns or fencing weapons or anything that could cause harm during a choreographed fight scene. Remember, let your fictional characters kill themselves, not you, the performers. Okay, let's take a look again at that attack, shall we? Boring without the red stuff, isn't it? There are a variety of ways to achieve realism in a staged knife or sword fight for the theater. One is to have blood bags, which are simply sandwich bag balloons filled with stage blood and sealed at the end, taped to your chest or stomach. Upon impact, you, as the actor, can easily burst these blood bags hidden beneath your costume, selling the effect. And again, that's what all of this is about, illusion. As an actor, it's your job to sell this effect for the audience to buy it. Sounds simple? It is. Now, if we decide to go with this method, then the blood is trapped inside the shirt, spreading a stain but nothing else. If, however, you want something closer to Mr. Peckinpah's spurting artery effect, simply keep the blood bag palmed in your hand and squeeze to release a geyser arcing out of your temple of doom. This, by the way, is an extremely effective way to end a sword fight. Yet another method is having the actor knifing you palm a blood balloon or a baby syringe bulb of blood, and at the appropriate moment, squeeze the reservoir filled with stage blood. Another highly effective method of illustrating a gut wound, especially like the demise of Billy in David Rabe's Streamers, is the usage of a hot water bottle. This will guarantee the character a tragically messy end. Jerry rig a hot water bottle onto the actor's chest or stomach upside down. The amount of blood inside is up to you. But remember to keep the cap on. And keep it as close to the actor as possible so the bulkiness beneath the costume doesn't give the gag away.
Depending on the amount of blood and the viscosity, the seepage can be controlled by the actor. Now, please note, this particular effect, especially in an intimate setting, might send Grandma storming up the aisles towards the door. And depending upon the ticket prices, well, she may not come back. Now, an obvious drawback to this method is the aftermath. Cleanup is, well, let's just put it this way. A hot water bottle can hold up to 2 quarts. You do the math and bring them up. Hold it. Are you ready for this one? Well, buckle up, because audiences universally hate this effect, especially if they're in the front row. But I mean that in a good way. Like Granny, I bet you didn't see that one coming. This is one of the simplest, yet most effective illusions that you can create. Arterial blood belching from the mouth is always a bona fide success, and the throat spray, well, that's even easier.
Empty 2 tubes of your favorite hand cream. Wash them out thoroughly and fill with blood. Place Vaseline into the tips to retard leakage, and then adhere to the actor's chest beneath his costume. At the appropriate moment, his head goes down, the knife is drawn across his neck, and he jettisons the liquid by pressing on the containers.
Again, like anything else, use common sense. A fist fight probably wouldn't elicit 2 ounces of blood. Instead, use something like these AA capsules that are available through professional makeup companies, or sometimes they're available at pharmacies.
Break apart the 2 capsule halves, fill the one with stage blood, and simply replace the other half. This can be planted either on the actor or hidden somewhere on a set piece, but remember this. Depending upon the length of your scene, these capsules have a tendency to soften a bit.
One remedy for this is to use actual drinking alcohol, either rum or vodka mixed with food color to achieve the same results. It slows down the softening process just a little bit, but again now, use common sense. Only use enough alcohol to fill the capsules. You save the rest of it for your celebration later on for your great performance. Now, are there any questions? If you do insist, though, on using the commercial brands, make sure you take into consideration the color, the viscosity, and the washability factor. You can actually lose friends in the wardrobe department with this option. Believe me.
So, repeat after me. Color, viscosity, and washability. CVW. A ridiculous acronym to be sure, but you will remember it when you see the price tag they put on those commercial bloods. Did I mention cost as a consideration? A mid-sized car is cheaper than some brands of stage blood, and that's just for the ounce bottle. Personally, I'd go with the homemade brew every time. Keeping in mind, of course, the what? CVW. See, you don't remember. Color, viscosity, washability. And second only to flu remedies, everyone seems to have their own blood recipe. Even my father. What he was doing with one, I have no idea. Nevertheless, no two-stage blood recipes seem to be the same, and variations on a theme are actually encouraged. Depending on who you ask, theirs is always the best. Having said that, I'll tell you mine. An alternative to this recipe, affectionately called sugar blood by some, is to use a blue liquid laundry detergent, colored with blue and red food coloring. It's a very inexpensive substitute to simulate external bleeding. I repeat, external blood only.
Again, this is where common sense should automatically kick in and tell your brain not to ingest laundry detergent. And please, never wait till opening night to try any of these effects. This particular method may be too harsh for an actor's skin, so please experiment before the show opens. I mean, that's what Tech Week is for. Believe it or not, the blood effects for a stage production sometimes take a backseat to the set and lighting problems, but I'm here to tell you, they are no less important in the grand scheme of things, and you can quote me on that. A very brief history of stage blood, I think, is in order here. In Shakespeare's time of yore, rumor has it that sheep's blood was used to simulate the gore. Well, there's not much simulation there, is there? Moving on, the Grand Guignol of Paris in the late 1800s used a combination of glycerin and paint for their recipe. Now, can you imagine that in your mouth? Yuck! The early days of film used chocolate syrup for their ersatz blood, but when movies started being made in color, they went back to the glycerin and paint combination. It wasn't until 1965 when legendary makeup artist Dick Smith concocted the famous Caro syrup method, and fake blood, whether on stage or on screen, has never been the same since. So, thank you, Dick. Okay, let's employ what we've learned in a short scene that was written especially for the video that's called Tonight's Special. Curtain!